Welcome to the Jon Sanchez Show on Newstalk 780 KOH. Pleasure to be with you. Pleasure to be back with you. And a pleasure to be with my co-host. Oh, boys, I missed you so much. Dwight Millard, Highlands Mortgage. How are you?
Doing fantastic. We missed you too, but Jason is a good wingman.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I'll call him Goose. We just need to nickname him Goose. That's right.
Goose too.
Name him Goose.
Goose. Yeah.
I never have any doubt in my mind in my absence that he can fulfill the shoes. No doubt about it. Mr. Cory Edge of Edge Realty, Big C, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, sir. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. On the tail end of this nasty thing, what I'm finding though is this cold flu thing that I've had. It's like around the country. I mean, it is. I went through a couple bouts of COVID, when all that was happening and stuff. And I tell you, this one knocked me 5 days in bed. 5 days in bed, just brutal. Yeah, my best advice to anybody, if you start to feel it come on, just get the rest and, so on and so forth, because it's a nasty one, whatever it is. So yes, glad to be back, and pardon the nasally side of things here, no doubt about it. All right, well, let's tell everybody what we have lined up for you this afternoon. We're going to, of course, go through today's stock market activity, and what a day it was. Another very strong day today. Had some good bank earnings, had a lot of big movement in the semiconductor space. Give you all the details behind that. And then we're going to get into our topic. If you're thinking about buying or selling right now, as you get this year, still in first gear by all stretches of the imagination, we've been talking a lot about something that we want to kind of bring to everybody's attention. That's what the guys are kind of seeing right now, that there's some big home buying mistakes that are going on. And, anytime there's mistakes, that usually equates to people losing money, tens of thousands of dollars, because we're dealing with large amounts of money in real estate. So today what we're going to be talking about is we're going to break down what Cory and Dwight are seeing as far as mistakes that are going on with buyers, what they're doing wrong, how some of these deals are getting killed because of these mistakes, and most importantly, what the smart money out there is doing. And, guys, this was, again, I was trying to monitor, obviously, mortgage rates and on top of the stock market, et cetera, as I was laying in bed with a fever and, brain is not working too well. So forgive me if I ask you something that it's like, oh, John, that happened, a few days ago, whatever. Overall, guys, Cory, I want to start with you, and then we'll get to the stock market, and then same question to you, Dwight. What's kind of the feeling right now? I mean, a lot of things have changed since I've been out for this last week in regards to, you've got the president now, commenting in regards, or wanting his people, as he calls it, to start with the mortgage bond buying side of things. Dwight, obviously, we got the 30-year just a smidgen above 6% right now. Cory, let's start with you. What's kind of the feeling, the barometer at this particular moment?
I think buyers are, I don't know if buyers know or care about the minutia of how it all works, but what they hear is that you might have some of these bond buying programs, you might have this, you might have that. But so far what it's done, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dwight, is it's pushing rates down. We'll see if that lasts, how long it lasts, but for right now, it's pushing rates down, which makes buyers excited. And I don't know about the rest of the country, but I mean, the weather here right now is so unbelievable. So buyers are out, the holidays are over, people want to sell, people want to buy. And so we're probably going to have a pretty good start to the year, I would assume.
Dwight, same question to you.
I would say there's a optimism and a temporary euphoria going on, John, just with the headlines that are coming out, right?
Yes.
But that's why that makes this topic even more appropriate, because don't get caught up in the headlines and all that and start making decisions off of the headlines, because, be prepared.
And that's kind of where I wanted to go with the discussion this afternoon. And that is, I still hear from a lot of people, a lot of negativity, right? They're almost finding reasons. That's why I wanted to do this topic, almost finding reasons why they shouldn't be buying right now. Right? Or they shouldn't be selling, right? Oh, rates aren't too high. Rates are not low enough. Rates are this, rates are that. Or I'm worried about the AI taking my job, or whatever the reasons may be. And right now, Cory, and I'm glad you said what you said, and that is, if you start kind of getting analysis paralysis, I guess is the best word I can use, or words, this market can move very fast on you. And I have a feeling that's what we're going to see. And maybe what's starting to begin with, this market's starting to move very fast, and people going, oh yeah, I'm not buying until I can get that, sub 30 or sub 6% mortgage. They may be too late, right? A lot of the great deals that are out there right now may be gone. Some of those concessions, they may be gone.
They could be, they could not be. Like, we've talked about it for so many years. If you're going into this and you're buying a family home for you and your your spouse and your kids and all that stuff. That's most of the market, or your first time buyers. But the most of the market are people going to use the house for shelter. And you have to have a long-term view on that. And so none of this other stuff really matters. Whether you get 6.25 or 5.5, 20 years from now may not matter much. And we talked about it a lot on Tuesday, and we had charts, and I know you weren't there, but we were able to look at what happened in 2025 and compare it to 2016 and the price difference and everything else. I mean, it's up 93% over that amount of time. And then Dwight shared a pretty fascinating little text with us about the opportunity cost that's lost from not only not buying, but then having to pay rent instead of a mortgage. And so to me, it's, yeah, people get analysis paralysis. They want to time things and they lose sight of the bigger picture. Like if you did analysis paralysis 5 years ago and didn't pull the trigger and now you're still looking, look at how much more you have to pay and the opportunities you've lost from making that decision.
I agree.
John, I want to add to it, and you bring up, this was a conversation the last couple of days I've been having, the paralysis. What we're finding, or what you're seeing, and I don't know if Cory's seen this, there is so much information out there to the consumer right now, from rates to locks to concessions. It's almost information overload.
Oh, of course.
Then if you don't know, you just don't make a decision, right? Because you're so
analysis
confused.
Paralysis, right?
Yeah. So you're so confused because you've overdone your research and people. I mean, by the time you think you got it figured out, then you go to work and everybody there's an expert realtor or lender or whatever, And so I think a lot of people who can't filter, that's actually a really good topic some days. How do you filter out all the noise and get to the bottom line thing that you're trying to do?
Well, I was going to be a little smart aleck with you, Dwight, but I'm too tired to do that with you, so I'm going to just cut right to it, and I'll answer that question. How do you do it? I mean, we like you said, we do need to do a show on that, and it's really simple. For those of you that are not a realtor or a mortgage professional like these two gentlemen are, and I'm not, so I'll speak for the people, right? And the answer is very simple. It's like anything else in life. You can't be an expert in everything. You have to come to a point sometime in your life where you go, I need help. I need to trust the experts. And this is a prime example of that, Dwight. How do you do it? I mean, put it this way. As much as I'm, 14, 15 hours a day like you guys, every day dealing with money and economics and bond markets and stock markets and economic reports and you name it, everything that we all deal with, I still, to this point, if I was in the market to go get a $1 million home, the last thing in the world I would do with all my knowledge is to try to do it on my own. What would I do? I pick up the phone and I call Dwight. I pick up the phone and I call Cory. They are the experts, or anybody in your life that you deal with that you have trust with. But this is what it's all about, folks. It comes down to having the trust in somebody or somebodies that you trust. Yeah, actually, you don't even need to know them. You just need to trust them and trust their experience and their knowledge and just follow them. And, I will tell you, in 20 plus years of knowing these two gentlemen, they don't come any more hardworking, any more honest, or any more ethical than these two gentlemen. And we have a lot of great real estate professionals here. We know that. But I'm just telling you, choose somebody, choose a team and stick with that team, right? It's just like if you're a college football player right now, right? They're in the transfer portal or it's getting ready to close. And they're like, I'm chasing the highest dollar. Well, okay. Shouldn't you really chase the best coach to get you the national championship, which will really make you the big money when you go into the NFL? Right? People don't do that. They're looking at right now. Oh, I want to save an eighth, or I want to save a quarter. Cory, I want you to knock $5,000 off that selling price. Don't do it. Look at the big picture, and most importantly, trust that team, trust that management. And in the football example, trust the coach and the assistants. In this example, you trust Cory, you trust Dwight, or whomever in your real estate team that you want to be with. Get a team, trust them, and follow them, and move on with your life. I mean, it really is that simple.
But John, that was what we experienced in the 80s and the 90s, right? I mean, you didn't have the internet overload. You couldn't research. So they call you, they meet with you. We didn't even have Zoom. You couldn't meet with. So you either had to meet in your office or there was a long, client call over the phone, and then you had to build the trust. Now, even though I have not changed what I do or how I do it, but now they hang up with me or whatever, and they get on the internet, they go to ChatGPT, whatever they do. Yeah. And then pretty soon, I had a guy call me the other day and goes, what are your loan level price adjusters to that? I'm like, what? I mean, the average guy shouldn't know what loan level price adjusters are, unless he's listened to this show. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. But do you guys agree with my advice?
Absolutely.
You got to find somebody and trust them and go with them.
100%.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Yep. All right, well, there's that. We'll come back, give you the stock market recap, and then we'll get into our topic, the biggest home buying mistakes that we're seeing right now with Cory and Dwight. Let's turn it over to the wonderful Kristen Snow, whose words I have just missed hearing in my ear Monday through Friday. Let me hear it. Kristen Snow. Welcome back to the Jon Sanchez Show on Newstalk 780 KOH with Cory Edge of Edge Realty and Dwight Millard of Highlands Mortgage. Great to be back with all of you. Here's how we finished for the day. It was a semiconductor-driven market today, to say the least. We finished up 209 on the Dow, 0.60% to a close of 49,442. Rose 58, 0.25%. S&P up 18, or also 0.25%. To the commodity side, Trump said early this morning, it looks like they're not killing the people that are rioting in Iran. Oil market took that we're not going to do any type of military action, so oil prices plummeted on the news, down $2.79 to $59.09, or I should say opinion, not news. Gold lost $11.30 for the same reason, $4,624.10 an ounce. And Mr. Millard, 2 basis point increase on that 10-year, 4.16 was our closing yield. 30-year mortgage, how'd we do, my friend?
Yeah, so the good news, John, and we talked off air, when you're sick, it's hard to follow the bouncing ball.
Mm-hmm.
But, slowly but surely, we are improving on these interest rates. So today, according to Mortgage News Daily, you're at 6.04. That's down 3 basis points from where we were yesterday. We got inside of 6 last week, just for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but what's more encouraging is the 15 years at 5.5. John, and the
nice.
Yeah, the 30-year governments, FHA and VA, are 5.7 and 5.72.
Beautiful.
But here you go. Here's your jumbo, which was better than the conforming there for a while. Remember when it's at 6.34, so it now is back where it should be. So It feels like we're kind of getting into it looks like we're getting into a normal interest rate market. So I'm hoping that if we can gain another 10 or 15 basis points off that average, get down into the 5.8, 5.85, I think.
Dwight, it's not Christmas. It's not Christmas anymore.
To Cory's point, yeah. It's
10, 15 basis points, Cory. Holy moly.
I've been waiting for 4 years for this Christmas present.
First, he tells us last week that he wants the 5 interest rate cuts for 2026. Now Man, I love his optimism.
First one.
Yeah, no kidding. See what happens here. Well, that's good. That's great. That's good news, Dwight. I love it. As I said, it was a semiconductor-driven market today. Very strong. Taiwan Semiconductor kind of got the ball rolling after the close yesterday. Much better than expected earnings numbers. The company expects between $52 to $56 billion in capex spending this year. Stock rose $14.53, 4.44% to $341.64. You had KLA 10 Core up $110.46, 7.7% gain. NVIDIA, $3.85 rise. Google lost a little bit out of obviously not in the semiconductor space. Airlines also had some good strength with the oil prices coming down. As I mentioned, Delta was up by about $2.85. United Air up $5.27, et cetera. A couple Wall Street banks, Goldman Sachs had numbers that were kind of mixed. Beat on the top line, a little bit light on the bottom line in a few other areas. And the stock was actually down when the news came out this morning. Boy, quickly rebounded, finished up $43.21 to drive the Dow higher, 4.63% gain to close at $975.88. BlackRock, world's largest money manager, up $65.05, 5.96% to $1,156.90. And the list just goes on and on. Guys, we have... we were talking about optimism and things feeling really good right now in the housing market. And I want to echo that sentiment in the stock market side of things. This is a market right now that you got to watch it very closely. I'm going to quiz you guys here. I know you watch the market closely. You're probably not watching it this closely. Cory, take a stab. Where do you think we are year to date on the Dow already?
On the Dow? Oh, God, I would think you're 5%, maybe? Guessing?
2.9.
Okay.
All right. Dwight, S&P 500, what do you think we are year to date already?
4.5.
1.5. But my point of all that, and I did not expect you guys to know those are. Yeah, in 2 weeks, exactly. But you watch the Russell 2000, the small caps, right? This is where the young companies live, right? That Russell 2000 already up 7.8% year to date, 7.8%. And the reason I'm bringing that point up is you watch years like this where the year starts off strong with the Russell 2000 leading the way, and that's usually a sign of a very strong year ahead. Lord knows anything can happen, but it's definitely the right foot out of the blocks that we want to see. And so there is a lot of optimism right now. Yeah, we had a little bit of choppiness last week, et cetera. But overall, like I said, tons of optimism in the market, a lot of money to be put to work still. Earnings numbers, we just started earnings season. Earning numbers so far look, fairly decent. We got most of the banks are done, or we have just a few of the major ones to report. Really like what we're seeing here. We are, halfway through the first month of the year. So wanted to throw that in there. So, definitely take a look at your allocation, folks. Make sure you're in the right areas, because not necessarily what worked last year will work this year, i.e., the Russell 2000 was a little bit of a struggler last year. And here we are, double to triple of what the other major averages are doing. So, like I said, overall looking pretty strong. So good stuff there. All right, let's get a head start, guys, on our topic this afternoon. Again, some big home buying mistakes that the boys are seeing at this particular one. Dwight, I'm going to start with you on mistake number one. Chasing rates instead of buying the right home.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen this for 40 years, John. I mean, everybody wants, it's like they shock me when they say, I want the best rate and the lowest payment when I talk to them, right? Doesn't everybody? Mm-hmm. So, but what happens is you get fixated on this rate and the movement, and you're not trusting the professional. You're trying to follow it, and by the time you're following it, you're never going to get the bottom. Usually, if you do, it's because of dumb luck, God's grace, however you got there. But just settle in with something. Corey's always said it. If you're comfortable with the payment and all that, I mean, you're getting some really solid interest rates right now. If you like the house, then take advantage of it. Don't keep chasing after these rates, because the opportunity will go away for sure. If you're,
I want to throw one thing in to echo that comment, Dwight, and that is, and I know you'd never say this, it's more in my bailiwick, and that is this, folks. I just said a second ago, the optimism that we see in the market at this point. I'll tell you one thing that could derail it. I am concerned, to bleed my heart to you, I'm concerned that investors are being a little too, what's the word I'm looking for? A little too laissez-faire when it comes to some of the global issues that the president is getting involved in. Talk Greenland, obviously Iran, tensions building with China. There's a lot of things on an international basis that we're just kind of brushing it aside. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, we just took over Venezuela. Yeah, okay, yeah, we're going to take over Greenland. Yeah, okay. That doesn't last. It's one of these scenarios where, again, you wake up and everyone goes, wait a minute here. He's kind of trying to take over a lot of parts of the world. And is that really a good thing? And then, of course, his attack over the weekend in regards to Chairman Powell, right? These things can come out of the left field, and they can be just enough for everyone to go, time to, let's call them the Jets, so strong start to the year. So, Dwight, I think you could see if one of these global events do unfold, or Lord knows, I mean, who knows what else is lurking out there, then you could see that flight to quality, drive those bond prices up, drive your yield down, and then you could, definitely see a pretty significant pullback in that area. So I don't think that's enough reason to go against your advice, which is, if you like the house, as Corey just said at the beginning of the show, you like the house, date the rate, jump in there, get in there, because Lord knows things can go either direction, right? Things can go either direction.
John, you'll always have a refinance opportunity somewhere in the future. Always.
Absolutely.
Always.
Yep, you got it. Let's see. When we come back, Dwight, we'll go to, actually, you know what? When we come back, because I know Corey's got to jump out in the last segment. Corey, we're going to come back and talk about what some smart buyers that you're seeing, what they're doing right now to make sure they're not falling into some of these home buying mistakes. So we'll come back with Corey on that one. Let's turn it over to Jack Saban. He's got news, traffic, and weather. Hello, Jack. Back to the Jon Sanchez Show on News Talk 780 KOH with Cory Edge of Edge Realty. Dwight Millard of Highlands Mortgage. Once again, a 293 gain on the Dow, at 58 on the NASDAQ, 18-point rise on the S&P 500. All right, we don't want you to make any home buying mistakes, and the boys have put together a pretty good list. First one, again, chasing rates instead of buying the home right now, right? Dwight said, look at here we are, 604 is where we are on a 30-year mortgage, according to Mortgage News Daily. It's looking good. Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy. Now, we're going to jump down to Corey and talk a little bit about what the buyers are doing, smart buyers. Corey, how are they leveraging the system when it comes to this versus what the not-so-smart buyers are doing?
Well, and I don't want to put anybody into a category of not being smart, right? But sometimes agents don't use all the tools that are in their thing. And one of the biggest ones still, even now, are the seller concessions. Most normal sellers understand they're going to list the house, and they're probably not going to get 100% of what they want. even if you look at our stats, the list price to sell price ratio flutters between 95 and 98%. Meaning they're not getting 100% and they're not getting over 100%. So that market is kind of behind us, which means now you have an opportunity to come in and either negotiate on a lower price or say, hey, I'll give you your price, but I need some concessions. And you can structure those concessions to leave more money in your pocket, buy down your interest rate so your monthly payment comes down. Just do any of these things that are going to help you more so than just bringing down the sales price. Because, Dwight can give us numbers. You bring down a sales price 10 grand and it might save you $1, $2, nothing really effective. So don't be scared to ask your realtor as the buyer's agent about concessions and what he or she is seeing in the market and how can we put those in my offer, even if you don't need the concession. A lot of people think concession means I need money because I can't qualify without it. In some cases, that's what it means, but it can also mean, hey, I don't need any help qualifying. I'm golden, but I'd rather get some concessions for closing costs, for repairs, for something that's going to leave money in my pocket versus something that's not going to really benefit me.
Or are you finding, does the average buyer out there, do they know about concessions?
If it's explained to them, if their realtor explains it to them. And again, the average buyer, most people come in and think, oh, you're asking 500. My only option is to offer you less than 500,000. That's how I negotiate. So they know that they don't have to pay 100% of the price, but they don't know that they can pay 100% of the price and get their reduction or their discount somewhere else, which may be more beneficial. So I would say the average buyer probably doesn't understand that process unless it's explained to them as they're going through it. And the average buyer really doesn't understand the benefit of it. The leaving money in your pocket. Even when I talk to some agents, they don't understand what I'm talking about as far as that money staying in my pocket can earn money somewhere else, can do all these different things versus giving you less of a sales price.
And John, to that point, you got people taking their money out of the market for down payments and different things to try to get it doesn't make sense. And that's where someone like Cory or Aaron come into play. They've been doing this so long, and Cory understands that. Why would you take money out of the market that's earning, especially if it's with you, it's earning money? Why are you taking it out for more of a down payment that's not going to affect the overall payment?
Right.
Lots of little things like that.
Well, I think at some point, Dwight, we probably should do a show on this, because I think a lot of people may be confused and saying, all right, let's say you get let's do a hypothetical real quick. $600,000 house, 10% down, $60,000. Okay, is Dwight going to look at me more favorably if I can come to the table with $60,000? Maybe I borrowed my 401k, my savings, my investments. Or is Dwight going to look at me the same if Cory could negotiate a 10,000 or a 10% concession, right? I know that's extreme. It doesn't make any difference.
No, it's a machine, right? So if your credit scores are high and if your scenario looks good, now I can mess around with it a little bit to kind of sweeten it, but at the end of the day, I got to verify it. So it doesn't matter if you're a AAA buyer. Put 5% down, put 3% if you qualify. There's just to keep the cash working for you. Yeah, fantastic advice.
Okay, Cory, you said using concessions correctly. This is one thing the smart buyers are doing. How about structuring the offers in a strategic fashion?
Yeah, so I go through this with my sellers and really with the buyers, and it's just kind of some advice from being around. The first thing you're going to do as a buyer's agent is call that listing agent and see what kind of activity they have. If they already have multiple offers, now you have to put your best foot forward, period. If they don't have any offers yet and the property's been sitting for a while, maybe you have some room to negotiate, but I always recommend put a very strong offer, submit a very strong offer first, because you may not get the chance at a counter offer, if that makes sense. A lot of agents are so used to, I'm going to send you my offer. It's not the best thing we can do, but you respond in a counter offer. And I get yelled at all the time because I tell people, give me your best offer because we might not counter. And as soon as I send them a rejection, like, well, I thought we'd get a chance to change it in a counter. Like I told you, like what a lot of agents these days don't want to play the game back and forth. So give me your best offer. We'll see if we can make it work and kind of go from there. So that's always my advice to everybody, is there's no reason to mess around with these little nitty-gritty details.
Right, exactly. And then are you starting to sense from you, I can always tell your attitude as far as a little bit on the confident side versus not so confident. that you're on the confident side now, which tells me this is now starting to come back to more of a seller's market, because that's kind of where you focus. Am I reading you right on that? So you're playing offense, not defense as much now?
I think a little bit. So when we went over December numbers, we had a huge drop in new listings, inventory, all these things. So now you're getting back to this tight market, not as much for buyers to pick from. That could change tomorrow. That could change January, February. Who knows? Because we had a lot of listings last year that I think did not get sold. They just disappeared, and they could easily come right back on the market. But for now, it feels like the ball is back in the seller's court because a buyer's.
It didn't last long, did
it? Yeah.
No, and it could change very fast. But I think if these rates come down, if you get a lot of people off the sidelines,
guys, there's optimism. I'm telling you, system right now, and
yes.
You sellers that want to sit back, or you buyers that want to sit back, and that's why we want to do this topic. Sorry to interrupt you, Cory.
No,
I just again, my unprofessional real estate opinion, because I'm not a real estate professional like you guys are. I think this is going to be one of those snooze you lose type of years. I really do. I just have this feeling that there's this, and I think, Dwight, to Cory's point, you break 6 on that 30 year at that point. I think just, even though the three of us know it's not going to make that big a difference, psychologically, it's going to get those people off the fence. And man,
John,
oh man.
did you see, and Cory, did you see that thing that came out there? There's more rates above 6 than under 3 now.
Yes. Yep.
Interesting. I did not see that.
So there's a shifting going on.
There is a seismic shift. All righty, boys. Well, that was great, Cory. I know you got to jump and head over the hill, so we appreciate everything that you always bring to us. Your number, sir?
673-6700.
Beautiful. Drive safe, my friend. We'll see you on Tuesday. And
Yes,
we will
sir.
continue our discussion on the home buying mistakes that the boys are seeing right now with Dwight. But first, let's wrap it up with Kristen Snow, Right Now Traffic Center. Hello, Kristen. Welcome back to the Jon Sanchez Show on News Talk 780 KOH, of course, with Dwight Millard of Highlands Mortgage. Dwight, your phone number, sir.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Thank you. And again, Mr. Edge had to step out. Let's continue our discussion, Dwight. The biggest home buying mistakes you and Cory are seeing people making right now. We've touched on, as Cory just mentioned, what smart buyers are doing. Instead, they're using the seller concession, structuring offers, playing offense, not defense. Let's talk a little bit about the ever so important not getting properly pre-approved. Right up your alley.
John, that goes right to structuring the deal, right?
Yeah,
how do you
really
structure
does.
a deal if you can't fit within the financing parameters? So, I mean, we have harped on this for the last 3 or 4, if not 10 years. Get yourself pre-approved with a professional. These onlines are garbage, most of the time. I mean, unless you're just an absolute cookie cutter kind of a borrower, but few and far between. Everybody's got a little story now, but once you have that and you know exactly what you're capable of doing, from 5% down, 3% down, FHA, I could go conventional, I got VA, I got USD, all those things matter when you get to working with Cory and saying, okay, I'm not ready to structure my deal and go forward. I mean, you got to have a legitimate pre-approval. Otherwise, if you don't, guess what happens? Then all of a sudden, when it becomes legit, now you realize, whoops, my interest rate's too high because my credit score is bad, or I can't get the one product, I don't have that enough. Then you lose your earnest money, or it ends up costing you more. So we have talked about this, and it's so much more important now. And as the inventory tightens up, John, it's going to be even that much more important that you have a really local approval.
You're right. Yeah, local's the key. You're absolutely right on that. Now, back to what we were saying earlier when Cory was with us, Dwight. If this market does take off like all three of us are anticipating due to all the various strong economic factors we're dealing with, that pre-approval letter is going to be even more important, because you're going to see more and more buyers coming to the same deal. Don't even try to show up, right? Don't even try to show up if you don't have a pre-approval letter.
Well, and to Cory's point earlier, is sometimes you have to put your best foot forward. How do you know what your best foot forward is if you don't have a valid, legitimate discussion and approval process of how you're going to structure it? And again, I go back to, it's awful nice to have somebody that when Cory gets a pre-approval letter and he knows somebody in the community, it makes it that much stronger for him. So, local is important. So,
And real quickly, while we're on that subject, just real briefly, Dwight, 20 seconds, walk through, what does somebody need to get a pre-approval letter from you?
So, well, the easiest one is I have a application via phone or via email. It takes 10 minutes, John, to fill it out.
Jeez.
I can actually run it through the automated underwriting engines with that. In most cases, John, I can run just a soft pull, so there's no cost, no credit hit to get you an approval. Why not? You got
That
nothing
simple.
to lose. Yeah.
That simple.
Yeah.
And how can someone get a hold of the link to that?
So, I mean, just probably text me or call me at 775-240-2022, and I can just send it
Okay.
right out. Yeah, it's
Beautiful.
easy. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Technology,
system-
John.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't fight it forever.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. A couple seconds or minutes remaining here. What do you want to wrap up with, making sure that people do not make any mistakes right now? We're at a critical time period in this real estate market.
John, if we are correct in our assessment, the three of us, if we're even close to being correct, it's going to get a little bit more challenging. So get in front of the game, get in front of the ball, get out there, get pre-approved, know what you want, know what you're looking for, know what your max payment is, know what your max sales price is, so that you're really equipped to make a good, solid offer and get the house. I mean, just stay in the game, be present, listen to this show like we always talk about, we're going to give you little hints and things that you can do. But yeah, if we're correct, and it's coming, John, it'll be sooner than later, and we're going to be you're going to see multiple offers. You're going to be back that again. So yeah.
Isn't this crazy how fast as I sit here and listen to you and Cory talking about the market conditions now, and I made that comment earlier in the show, it's like how fast things change, right? It was basically what we can say, maybe a year that it was more of a buyer's market than a seller's, and here we're already reversing.
Yeah. It didn't take long, did it?
No, it really didn't.
But John, we've been saying all it's going to take is a little bit of interest rate reduction, and it's going to flip it just like that. And these builders are going to start doing away with price reductions and incentives. So is the resale market. I mean, those are the things that go first.
You bet. All right, heard it here first, folks. You heard it from Cory. You heard it from Dwight. Now is the time. Get a hold of Mr. Millard, Mr. Edge, and I will be back with everybody tomorrow. God bless. Have a great afternoon. See you, Dwight. Great job.
See you, John.
Dwight Millard, NMLS ID number 241259, a licensed mortgage loan officer with Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited, an equal housing lender. NMLS ID number 134871. The information shared on this live broadcast is for general information purposes only and does not constitute financial or mortgage advice. Listeners should consult directly with a licensed mortgage professional for guidance tailored to their specific situation. All loans are subject to credit approval and program guidelines. Not all applicants will qualify. Loan terms and availability may vary by state and are subject to change without notice. Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited is licensed in multiple states. For a full list of state licenses and disclosures, please visit https://www.highlandsmortgage.com/licenses/. The views expressed during this program are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited.